Static Selector.
Oh yeah. Hey. What up, everybody? What's going down? I don't even know if I should do the regular intro like I always do because this is a special edition, special night, special episode, special live broadcast. Yeah, why not? I'll do it anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, yes indeed, you are now tuned in to the hottest podcast across the land, the hottest podcast across the globe, and definitely, motherfuckers, definitely the hottest podcast on YouTube Live. Get it right. If you don't know, you better ask somebody. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mixture of Variety, and I go by the name of Patient Zero. Give it up one time. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. See, this special episode, only select people got an invite because nobody knew I was going to go live on YouTube tonight. Nobody knew, but still people showed up. Big shouts to them. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot to talk about. You know, if I go live on YouTube on a Monday night, we got a lot to talk about. Now, the first thing I'm going to say is, obviously, welcome. Usually, what we do around these parts is we do go live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you don't know, now you know. And if you're watching the show, obviously you're watching on YouTube. Obviously, you found our page somehow, and here we are with a special broadcast. Usually, for right now, you'll see us live on Castbox Monday and Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Now, the live show in Castbox.fm, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Some people listen, some people have no idea. Some people are from India, across the globe, which is cool and everything, but it's just like they're not really feeling the impact of a live show like how I really want it to be. But that's okay because we use that platform to record our show like most podcasters do. Big shouts to Nikki P, by the way, my co-host. I keep saying we. Nikki P in the building. Nikki P didn't even know I was going live tonight on YouTube. It's a surprise to her as well. She's probably just wondering why I'm not live on Castbox. But for right now, that's what we're doing. The show gets uploaded to all major podcast platforms, from Spotify to Apple to iHeart, etc., etc. Good times, Good times. We got to spread the word. Like COVID-19. Spread that shit. We're always switching things up. We're always changing things up. I have way too many thoughts, good and bad, negative and positive. Too many thoughts they formulate so rapidly and change so rapidly, which might be one of the reasons why I'm on, I display some of my medication for you guys because we do cover mental illness and whatnot. That's just about half of them. But that's just in my own mind and my perspective on things, right? I mean, like, if I have this podcast platform, I'm using it, trying to use it for good and not evil, because it's definitely easy to get wrapped up in that whole nonsense. But honestly, I just want people to listen to what I have to say. I am not here to change any minds. maybe I can educate some people on some topics, or at least just, bringing my perspective, my point of view to the table, and maybe you look at things differently. If you keep an open mind and you come to this show, it's a win-win. A lot of people that have been with us for a while, been with us for a minute, and actually know what the show is about and actually know what we're about, definitely have an open mind. Because if you don't like what I have to say, or you don't like my perspective, or you don't like how I'm saying it, or you don't like the topic or the subject matter of the show, you simply don't have to watch or listen. Today will be watch and listen. Now, what I was saying about as far as like changing and switching up the shows and whatnot, I know that we're going to be doing the show Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That can change week by week. And it could change maybe how many YouTube shows we got, because our YouTube shows, our YouTube podcasts, nobody's really watching them live. And I think that's because of the app that we use to broadcast it. Because it's weird. Like, I know nothing about YouTube when we started. And it's like, we'll go live. But then afterwards, we'll say, not updated. What will it say? It'll say, I forgot now what it's even saying. Pending. I think that's what it says. I think it says pending review. Pending review. That's what it says. So it says pending review, and then our show is live. I mean, live on the site, like it's actually up there, and then people go check it out and listen and watch. And that's what's been happening. So, whatever, that's cool. Like, it doesn't matter. It's not a big deal if people don't watch us live. If we're going to be watching, whatever we do, I can't edit it right now on YouTube. So whatever I do is going to be posted, and then people can watch it like that. My point being that this might be actually a better way to promote our stuff and get our point out there. And not only to get our point out there, it's not only like just, I'm not just spewing venom on this mic and just like, venting about shit like I'm going to do tonight. And like I have been doing for the last couple of weeks, because there's been a lot going on and a lot that needs to be discussed about where this world is going and where this country is going. And you can't escape it. So I have a lot to talk about, like, in that sense. But if we're going to reach more people, more importantly, help other people. If we're either helping people get through a hard time, if we're helping when we're talking about shows, when we discuss addiction and recovery, I have 25 months clean, but oh my God, what a road it's been. And what a road it still is. Unfortunately, it doesn't just go away, as a lot of you recovering addicts know. And we talk about addiction and sobriety and recovery often. We talk about mental illness often. We talk about mindfulness often. We actually have a little mindfulness bell that when I hit, let's just take a deep breath right now when I hit it. Ready? I'm telling you, it helps. It really does help. And that's definitely a suggestion that I can give. I'm sure you heard it, before, but if you just practice some type of breathing exercises, no matter what you're going through, or if you have, ADHD like me, and you can't pay attention and you're just going from topic to topic, and I'm hoping that you guys can stay with me, but you're just, because my thoughts are just bouncing around. I'm talking about a million things at once. The mindfulness bell is just really good to bring us back to basics and bring us, to remind ourselves where our feet are planted. Well, you can do that any time of day. Practice your own breathing exercises. Just, go in your car, go somewhere by yourself, or, in a break room. It doesn't matter. People can be around. You're not doing anything crazy. You're not like doing yoga positions in the break room at work. Just really slow, deep breaths, focusing on your breath, focusing on the counting. Because when you focus on the counting and the breath, if you're like me, you minimize your random thoughts that are going all over the place. Because I can just, I can try to have really slow, deep breaths, like 5 of them in and out, really slow, focusing on my breath and focusing on my counting, and still be thinking about a million things at once. But it's definitely good to do, because these days we have to do anything we can possibly do to help ourselves. Um, physically, more and more research is coming out as far as like, people have vitamin D, zinc, minerals in life, mainly those two, to fight off COVID-19. It's just like one of the two best minerals and vitamins that you can do, zinc and vitamin D and vitamin C, to help yourself get rid of COVID, or get rid of COVID faster, or build up a better immunity. And that's for anything. That's not just for COVID. COVID, they blew up into like this massive pandemic, which it wasn't a pandemic. It was a plandemic, and a scamdemic, and we're gonna get into that in a second. I know I've been talking about that for a couple of episodes, but I'm gonna try to say it tonight, and then that's it. And I'm just gonna leave it alone. But anyway, there I go again, talking all over the place. Take care of yourself, build up your immunity, and take care of yourself physically, right? I mean, it's very important to eat healthy and exercise, and the whole nine. And then mentally, you know, um, and I'm not just talking about like medications. I'm talking about therapy is really helpful. And if you don't feel like you need therapy, then you can, talk to people about your problems and your issues, and you can read up on, self positive growth and all these, self help books. And, there's a lot of research. If you don't want to read, if you're not a reader, maybe like me, and you want to go to certain sites, if you want to go to some YouTube pages and um, watch some videos, you definitely have a choice every time you go on YouTube, or if you go on TikTok. I mean, maybe you're not a 16-year-old girl, maybe you don't go on TikTok, but TikTok or Facebook. I don't know. I don't have social media anymore, so whatever. Instagram. I do have Instagram for the show. It's a business account, and that's it. I got rid of all my social media. And that's just one suggestion for me, because I do have a lot of mental health issues that it definitely helps my mental health a lot. But if you're watching videos on Facebook, or if you're a 16-year-old girl on TikTok and you're watching these challenges, or like these, I mean, I've seen some challenges, not on TikTok, but of people on YouTube channels that were like talking and making fun of like people that are on TikTok. I mean, there's like challenges now that I just couldn't believe. Like, they tally up like how many guys they've been with in a week, or something like that, in a month, and they try to. It's just like, it's basically playing a game like who can be the bigger whore, which is exactly where this country and world is going anyway. So I'm not like surprised that that's happening. It's just unfortunate because TikTok is for younger people, and like the challenges and shit like that. There's people like a huge group of teenagers that were like celebrating like their third abortion. I mean, it's just like it's I mean, it's really stuff that, like, when you really think about 20, 30, years ago or something like that, that you would just never realize or understand how bad things were going to get, and how quickly things were going to get for this country and the youth of this country. Oh man. But anyway, if you watch things that is entertaining for yourself and nurturing your soul, that's basically what I'm saying. Like, pay more attention to that stuff. Like I said, I only have the only social media that I have is for the show, for Mixture of Variety. You guys can catch us on IG at Mixture of Variety, the name of the show, at Mixture of Variety. And you can see some of the craziest banners of your life. We definitely push the envelope with IG, and sometimes we do post some crazy shit. Although it's been a minute, I haven't posted anything really crazy too recently. But either way, I'll post that up so you know what we're talking about that night, because sometimes you might not know what we're talking about, and some people don't like to be surprised. So we got physically, we got mentally, and then we got, well, financially we're going to touch on, because, well, we're going to touch on these two anyway, so I might as well just name them. So we got physically, we got mentally / emotionally, because not only like the stuff that you watch, but like I was saying, like talking to people, if you're in a relationship, you know, making sure it's not just like fighting and like, you know, negative energy all the time, or you're not stressed out all the time, or like worried or anxious, like where are you, like what's happening, you know, that type of shit, worried about cheating, or you know. So that obviously takes a big toll on a lot of people emotionally. You know, is definitely, it's definitely very hard to control, in the sense where like you don't want to go off the deep end and do something that you regret, say something you regret, or do something that you regret, because it's all based on emotions. uh DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy, is something that we actually talk about on the show a couple times, but since we're not professionals in any way, or therapists or psychiatrists or anything like that, um we only discuss our experiences, strength and hope, right? Our thoughts, views, and opinions, and our experiences, strength and hope. And we do that so hopefully it helps you guys. You know, we're not just doing it just to do it. Like, obviously, I know it helps me. That's the only reason why I even know about it. Two of the times that I've been in the psych ward, when you get out of the psych ward, they put you in this program that's a month long, and it's all about DBT, and that's where I learned it. And it's, I mean, I feel like anybody could use it. You know, kind of like the 12 steps of recovery. I feel like anybody could use it. You don't even have to be an addict or an alcoholic. It's one of those things. So of what I was taught, I try to bring to the table. But why I was even mentioning that is because we were talking about being too emotionally involved and making an irrational emotional decision. Well, what you're supposed to have, or where you want to be like in a Zen state, at peace with yourself, in a tranquil Zen state, where most people, you know, want to be. Picture a circle here. This is your emotional brain. Picture a circle here. This is your logical / rational brain. Okay. So there's some people that are a lot more logical and rational and barely show any emotions. And then there's people like me who live off of emotions. You know, like rational, you know, rationalization and logic will go out the window if it's something that I'm like, you know, upset about, or thinking about, or worried about, or, you know, angry about. That's going to take over. That's going to be top priority. Which is not a good place to be. It's really not. But some of the skills, and there's several, some of the DBT skills that we discussed and talk about. And if you're interested, you can go just search right now, DBT skills. Everything will pop up if you want to learn more about it. But you just want those two minds to kind of be like this. Like this. So they're kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you need to be emotional, you're emotional, but you're not over the edge. When you need to be logical and rational, you are, but not like too, you know, stern and strict and whatever. And that's what I had to say about that. Emotionally, mentally, physically, obviously all very important. Now, financially, a lot of people would think, well, I should say a lot of people unfortunately think that finances make them happy. You know, obviously the slogan or the saying that's been around for centuries, money can't buy happiness, right? And a lot of people will be like, fuck that, like, yeah, I can, I could buy this, I could be that, you know, I could buy that. But I can tell you, like, the people that have the most money probably lack in a lot of other sections that we were just talking about. Like, maybe they have a lot of money, but emotionally they're kind of all fucked up, or their relationships are all fucked up, or their family is all fucked up, or they're never happy within themselves. It doesn't matter how big they make it, they always, you know what I'm saying, like they're never going to be happy enough. Or the greed takes over, or the selfishness takes over, or the loneliness takes over. You know, like, you can see all these like celebrities and people like that. Like, fame is a drug. Fame is definitely a drug. So if you're out of the spotlight, especially after you've been famous for a little bit and you're out of the spotlight, that can kill you. That can cause somebody to use drugs. That can cause somebody to take their life, because fame is a drug. So there's so many people that, because of the propaganda and everything else that is shown on the TV and movies, social media, that you're not somebody unless you do have money, right? And just like a lot of things in this country, mainly, anything to keep people divided, anything to keep people separate is a good thing for the puppet masters on top. I'm talking about the 1%, the people that control this world, the New World Order, the people that control the government, those people. It's good for them. And that's why they try to promote it and also use a lot of propaganda behind that as well. Because if we're fighting against each other and we're not unified, we're not going to see the bigger picture about what's really going on behind the scenes. Like Toto pulling that curtain over, we're not going to really know what's going on, because we're not going to take the time to even do research to find out what the bigger picture is and what's really going on here and who really does control the world. You know, there are people out there, and I apologize if you saw this on the last episode. I don't know if it was last episode or if it was an audio show. There's really people out there still to this day in 2021 that have these built-in blinders, and they only see what's in front of them, and they only do what other people like basically tell them to do. Like, it's almost like they don't have a mind of their own. There is a name for these kind of people. They are called sheeple, which I guess is basically like sheep people put together. Sheeple that just go along with the herd. Just go along with the herd. They don't ask questions. They don't even rethink why things are happening. They don't even think about it. They just have the blinders on and they go along with the herd. And that can be for anything. And those are the type of people that believe and trust the government or government officials or politicians 100%. Like, those are the people that will believe like their ads that they put out as commercials, or those are the people that will believe like what actually comes out of these politicians' mouths, or that they really even have control in the first place, or that, I mean, the list can go on and on. What to do during COVID, there's people now still to this day that drive around in their cars with masks on, or like, they'll walk their dog and there's nobody like within a 50-foot radius or diameter around them, and they'll be wearing like 2 masks. Some of that is virtue signaling, for sure. Virtue signaling, where it's just like, look at me, I'm a good citizen, I obey the law and I do everything right. And the other half of that is just pure ignorant stupidity. And another way to be considered a sheeple. And there are actually people like that in this world. So, back to finances, or money, I should say. Money really just control everything. Oh, that's what I was getting to. Money really does control everything. The people that own the world basically own the world banks, and they're, you know, they're all interlocked with every world leader, and this is the one world government that they've been talking about forever. George Bush Sr. was the first one to talk about that in the early 80s. And then it was just a plan that was implemented by the higher ups. And now it's coming into play. Now it's actually happening all around us. And you just, some people are just completely oblivious to it, but it is happening all around us. So in that sense, people think that people are, money also, not only for the fame and fortune, for the fame part, and then obviously the fortune, as far as like entertainment or, being pop music or, whatever it is, entertainment TV. It's also basically is how people run the world with, currency. So that's just another reason why people think that that is affiliated with their happiness or their growth as a human being. They only have, none of that matters unless they, reach a certain financial status. So obviously, like I was saying, that's another reason why or how they can use that to separate us. Because like I was saying, if there's no unity, we can't pull back and look at the big picture. I'm happy to know that at least some people are waking up, at least probably more than ever, the people that are doing their research about not getting the vaccine, and what it possibly can do to us. People are just so free willingly just pulling up their sleeve and just being like, give it to me. There's some videos that people are like, I don't even care what's in it, like just give it to me so we can get this virus over. And no one is looking at the bigger picture. No one is looking at the bigger picture, where we are human guinea pigs. This is all an experiment, and this is something that they wanted to lay out for a very long time. And COVID was just to see how much control they can have over us. And obviously, speaking of control, also brings back to money, right? So they want to divide us. They want to have this race war that doesn't even exist. They want to have red versus white, right? Obviously, Democratic and Republican. They want to do the most important one and the most obvious one nowadays is rich and poor. If you are poor, and I mean to that extent of the real people that have money, we're all basically like peasants. And to make it look even more like we are peasants and we're just underneath them, we walk around with these little face diapers on our face that don't do anything. You can spray a little bottle, like a little spray, a little water bottle, it'll go right through. Doctors have shown that it doesn't do anything. It doesn't matter if you're touching everything, and then you readjust. Everybody's readjusting their mask all day, readjusting their mask all day, readjusting their mask all day. And whatever they're touching is now on their nose and in their mouth, on their lip, that happens all day long. And the social distancing, is ridiculous because social distancing is only like in select places. Like they let the protesters and, the rioters were on top of each other. And then also the funniest thing about the mask is that you can be in the same exact location and then have to wear a mask, but then you sit down and you start eating in that same exact place, the same exact bar, the same exact restaurant, the same exact whatever it is. And then you could take off your mask and eat. It's just, it's comical, but people don't look at it like that. People have the blinders on and they're just like, I will do what you say, massa. Whatever you tell me to do, I will say it, and I will trust you, and I will roll my sleeve, and etc. etc. That's all I want to say about the vaccine, because I've been talking about that for the last couple weeks. Now, one of the things that I did hashtag in this video, before this video, is hyperinflation. Basically, this also revolves around money, but this is a big one. This is not just inflation, where supply and demand is off, and inflation starts. Inflation is kind of like what we're seeing now. Like, you'll notice in the next couple weeks or couple months even, gas will start going up, groceries will start going up, wood, materials, just materials in general will start going up, etc. etc. Now, on top of that, this Russian hacker gang that hacked the biggest pipeline that we have in the United States, goes from Texas to New York, and kind of took it offline for a little bit. I don't know exactly many details about that, but what I do know is that it's a shit show, and it's just going to make gas and oil prices even higher. And now, as inflation is happening, there are people who are actually staying home for months now because they're on unemployment, and they're actually getting paid more money to stay home and do nothing than they are to get a job and go to work. Let that sink in for a second. Mm-hmm. Now, how is this happening? How is this being allowed? Well, because it seems like China Joe Biden, him and Hunter Biden are like this with the Chinese government. All of it was proven on Hunter Biden's laptop, which the mainstream media does not want to talk about at all, because it, obviously it affects Biden. But there's documents on top of documents on top of documents. You can get them on the dark web. I've actually seen them myself. Yeah, they like he has a book now. Apparently, Hunter Biden. He was on a couple talk shows. I didn't see. I heard of it. And they're mainly asking him, like, wow, like, you were a crackhead. Like, wow, you used to like crack and you were doing crack, and now look how you changed your life. And it's just like, shut the fuck up. Like, you don't know anything. And it's just part of the smoke screens that the media will always, right? The media will always put the turn on, the spin on. Sorry. Media will always spin that, of course, because they're not trying to hurt his daddy or any of the Bidens. I mean, if that really came out to the public, like it was a main story, like people actually, because that's another thing too. People don't do their own research, and the same people that have the blinders on, they're not going to do any research on Hunter Biden. I fucking did. There's media outlets underground that got banned from, Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and IG and everywhere, and have no social media account, that you can still find them, and I know where to find them, and that's where I get my news from, and I do trust them, because they talk real shit. But people are not gonna look for that. Like, why even look for that? Why even try to go out of your way and either debunk a conspiracy theory, or people, always call it a conspiracy theory if they're scared of something, right? As soon as they hear, like, as soon as any fear comes over them, then they just dismiss it as a conspiracy theory, because they don't want to do any more research themselves and find out that there might be, some truth to it. So that's an easy way to just brush it off. But I talked about Hunter Biden's laptop way too much. But it's just one of the many sleazy scumbag, behind the scenes type bullshit that happens every single day. But then the smoke screen will be him appearing on Jimmy Kimmel or something like that, talking about, he used to be addicted to crack, and then people are like, oh wow, oh look at you, like you beat crack addiction, like congratulations. And now, buy my book. I mean, it's just, it's too much, ladies and gentlemen. It's too much. Don't come to the show and believe me, okay? Like, simple as that. Like, don't come on here and watch me or listen to the shows for the last couple weeks that I've been really venting and going all out as far as our government and the world and new world order. And last fucking Friday, I talked about secret societies that are part of the New World Order, and all of the New World Order are part of secret societies. Look up Freemasonry, Masonry, and the Freemasons, and the symbolism in this world and the propaganda that they're trying to pull over this country and over the world. And their prime religion is a hidden religion, but it is Satanism, and they want everything dark and twisted and horrible and sexual to happen to this world. I'm gonna get to that at the end of the show. Not to that. I don't want to talk about that anymore. If you want to find out really what I have to say about secret societies in general, specifically Illuminati and Freemasonry, because they're basically the same thing. They're just a branch off of one another. But yeah, the Freemasons run the world. They're the ones that have the most money. They're the ones that have been in existence for 400 years, 300 years, 350 years, something like that. And are infiltrating this world on a level and on a scale of biblical proportions, ladies and gentlemen. Everywhere you look. It's everywhere you look. Now, like I said, if you want to find out more about that, please go to last week's show, because I made that one show. I got it off my, my chest, and that's it. I'm leaving it alone. I'm not letting any of this tie me down, bring me down, cause me any anxiety, cause me any fear, cause me any worry, or anything like that. I just want to be aware. I just want to be aware, and I want to be awake. I want to be awake. And I'm not talking about woke. Woke culture is something totally different that I don't even care for, and I don't want to get into. Woke culture is the same culture that as like cancel culture, and woke culture is the same culture as, like, if you if you are a gay man like myself and a female has a transition and now is a guy, so is a trans male. If as a gay man, if I'm not attracted now to that trans male, then I'm transphobic. So I'm not getting into that. All the liberal little Antifa, crowd. I don't give a fuck about them at all. And I refuse to make a show about that. We did make a show about cancel culture. That was an audio show. You can check that out too. Any of our audio podcasts, by the way, you can check out. We have like 240 of them. Yes, we started right before the pandemic, February 2020. And we were going 5 days a week for a long time, for a very long time. And we have over 240 shows. Any of these topics, plus so much more. Obviously, we go by the name of Mixture of Variety. So it is a variety show podcast. It's a mixture of ideas and a variety, mixture of ideas and a variety of topics, which equals mixture of variety. So what I'm just talking about right now is only scratching the surface. We talk about it all. So make sure you go on Spotify, iHeart, Apple, wherever you listen to podcasts, and just type in Mixture of Variety, and we'll pop right up, and you can check us out there and listen to it anytime you want. Listen to it at work, on the drive to work, at the gym, if you're making dinner, if you're beating your kids, whatever it is. Okay. That was a commercial break. Back to the show. We're still on finances. Now, finances, unfortunately, because of the world we live in, obviously everything is finance related. Everything is money based. Everything is currency based. But not everybody, including yours truly, not everybody has that greed and selfishness that all they want to do is make more money and more money and more money. And everything in life is revolved around money. I mean, it's totally not for me at all. And I know other people feel like that as well. So I'm not saying that's everybody feels like that. But obviously, in the world that we live in, you also need money to survive. I mean, there's like I said, the 1% looks down at us all wearing the face diapers, walking around and being like, wow, look how easy we control them. Look how easy we control them. We put them in one place, and look how easy we we did what we want with them. And they're still wearing face diapers in some states, especially the blue states. They look at like, people with honestly like $400,000 a year. If you're making that much and under, you're still considered like poor to them. The one percenters have billions. You know what I'm saying? If not combined, if it's a new world order and they're combining everything, it could be trillions. I mean, the way that Joe Biden is spending money and the Democrats are spending money, it's not even like you can't even like fathom the idea of how much money 1.9 trillion is. You know what I mean? Like that sounds better than 2 trillion, maybe. That's why you go to the grocery store and something is 99 cents. It just sounds better than $1. So it's like 1.9 trillion for this relief package where, the COVID relief package and like for the stimulus and stuff like that, the stimulus checks at a 1.9 trillion dollars, 9 billion went to COVID relief. Hold on one second. Just, for the people in the back, out of $1.9 trillion for this relief package, the COVID relief package that was passed. Those sleazy motherfuckers didn't use all that money. No. Yeah, they're using some money for infrastructure and stuff like that. Like maybe we'll see how that actually works out. Right now they have way bigger things to worry about, like the border. The border is absolutely out of control. People are fucking illegal immigrants are just flooding the fuck in, and kids in cages, but then they'll show a picture. They'll be like, look, there's no kids, but they just moved them next door. That's the kind of like shit that they'll take a picture like that and they'll lie right to the public's face, like anything to cover up or have like this smoke screen of they're like, no, look over here. Don't worry about this. Look over here. Don't worry about the border anymore and what that's going to do to the economy on top of everything else that's happening. Don't look there. Don't look at the possible World War III starting, between Russia, Ukraine, China, and United States and more countries. Don't look at the attacks in Jerusalem, which is going to cause a war. I mean, they've been fighting for centuries, but which is going to cause more and more violence over there. They already have information coming out as far as China being in charge of and knowing about the Wuhan virus, and once again making a lie as far as it coming from the wet market, that some people actually believe that because people told them that. So of course they're going to believe that, not do any of their own research. I said maybe the first month of doing podcasts, I said that it was from a Wuhan lab and it was created. And now they're saying it's a biological weapon. Now they're saying that the Chinese government might have released it knowingly because they have documents where they showed that the Chinese government was looking at that as a possibility to make some type of biochemical weapon using SARS from 5 years ago. It's all planned, ladies and gentlemen. It's all planned out. They're always one step ahead of us, or at least they think that they are. Now there's a lot more people waking up, and hopefully a lot more people that are, making YouTube shows like this, or promoting banthis.tv like I am in the scroll. Banthis.tv, Infowars.com, band.video, BANNED.video, Project Veritas, Natural News. There are places that you can go to find real information. You just have to seek it out yourself. But so basically, all this other shit is going on in the world, where sometimes it's really, if you really let it get to you, and you're kind of like, you're feeling like an empath. You're like an empath, and you're taking on everybody's energy from the whole country, good and bad. It can definitely be too much to handle. It can have people relapsing. It can have people sent to the psych ward. I thought of both options. It can have people isolate and be depressed and not do anything. It can cause people from, running away from their job. It can cause people from doing any crazy things, having panic attacks, starting medication. All these things. There's just too much going on. And it just seems like there's too much going on at once. But yeah, so out of one, sorry guys, I am all over the place. Out of 1.9 trillion, and the infrastructures, the stuff that they're making, and whatever else like that, 9 billion with a B. Okay, 1.9 trillion was passed. 9 billion with a B was actually passed for COVID relief. Interesting. Very interesting. So, they know that money, when they drop money like that, people don't even realize how much it is and where it's coming from. Like, if they're just going to keep printing money, and the supply and demand is already fucked up, and people are getting paid more, so money is actually going out there, and people are actually staying home and getting paid and not working, so none of the products and the services are being done anyway. That becomes a sticky situation, ladies and gentlemen. And that sticky situation is called hyperinflation. And if you just look it up, you're going to get terrified. But don't worry, take a deep breath. Remember, mindfulness bell. Take a deep breath. If this actually does happen, the last time it happened was about 100 years ago. It's going to be really, really bad. What are you to do as a family if you're already paying 40% of your monthly income on food for, let's say, a family of 5? 40% of your income is going to food. What's going to happen during this hyperinflation in the next couple months? It will happen by this year for sure. Probably by the summer. You heard it here first. What's going to happen when all food prices increase by 40% on average? That means you're now paying 80% of your monthly salary on food. How are you supposed to live with that 20%? What are you supposed to do? And that's in that situation. What about people that have even less money and even less money, and people that are already like dirt poor? What are they going to do? What are they going to do? So I wish I can give you an answer. I just don't know. I can tell you this. Take off those fucking blinders, one. Okay, if you don't get anything else from this show, this episode, take off the fucking blinders and just do some research, because there's a lot going on in this world. And I'm not saying that to stress you out. I'm saying that you need to know as an individual and as a family and for your friends and as a community and as a state, you guys have to know what's going on. We're definitely power in numbers, right? Regardless, we're power in numbers. So we have to express as much unity as possible, which I'm going to get on my last note in a second. Now, what happens if this hyperinflation hits and it's really, really bad and people, become out of control and it's just more unrest? Like, we need more, right? More unrest and more people, fighting for food, more people like, robbing people for money, all these things. And meanwhile, the actual dollar, is decreasing in value very quickly, right? Because they're paying all these people that are not working and nothing is getting done. So the worst case scenario, hold on to your fucking hats. The worst case scenario would be that the dollar drops so much in value that your $50,000 that you had saved in the bank for your retirement is now worth $5,000. Your $5,000 that you have in your checking account is now worth $500. And that is when shit's going to get real. Because when you have that going on, when you start playing with people's finances like that, that will fuck with your mental status. That'll fuck with your physical status and physical ability. That'll absolutely fuck with your emotional status. And it would be like a breakdown of society. Okay. On top of the border control issues and the pipeline issues and the even more spending and, the multiple wars happening or at least beginning. It's a lot, ladies and gentlemen. It's a lot. This is why I come on the show and I do shows like this. Like I said, this is supposed to be an audio show. I was supposed to be on Castbox recording it. But now it's on YouTube instead, and I hope it gets a lot of views, and I hope a lot of people listen. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you comment if you like, if you have something to say. I would love to hear your comments. But more importantly, just share it. Share it. The last thing I'm gonna say, and the one major section that I did not hit yet. We hit physical, mental, emotional, financial. And basically each one can fuck with all of them, right? If you don't have a good mental state, you're probably not having a good emotional or physical state, and maybe not financial as well. If you're not emotionally stable, all the other ones suffer, right? If you're like physically handicapped or you're physically, 400 pounds or you're in a wheelchair, you have health issues, that's probably going to make the other ones suffer as well. Ladies and gentlemen, the most important one, and that's probably the main reason why I'm doing this show tonight: spiritual. Spiritual. Spiritual is the main part, the main section. Spiritual is the protection, the cleansing, and the healing from all the other ones. Okay? Now is the time to get a connection with God, a strong connection with God, and if you already have a strong connection with God, an even stronger connection with God. Now, this is where the no judgment comes into play. If you are listening to this and you are an atheist, I love you, and I'm going to be praying for you just the same, because I used to be an atheist for half my life. If you are agnostic, cool. I was an agnostic for the past 8 years or so. Shouts to you, and I'll pray for you as well. If you are Muslim, if you are Buddhist, if you are whatever it is, I got a calling where I had to get connected with not only Christianity, but with Jesus Christ. Honestly, that's the first time that I've said that out loud. It's not a hidden secret by all means. This recently, really recently, just happened. I was dibbling dabbling in it, you know what I mean? Had my toe in the water, being like, well, maybe this is an idea, whatever, for the last year or two, when it seemed like the world was really getting crazy. And I felt like I needed to grab onto something more than just my recovery and my medications and therapy and friends and family. I needed more. I needed a sense of something. So when I was agnostic and I didn't really know, but I would say a higher power or whatever it is, because that's what they teach you in recovery when you're getting sober. A higher power. Okay, so I've been saying higher power, but not actually pinpointing what that higher power is, which to me is God. And for the first time in my life, I'm accepting and bringing Jesus into my life. 100%. I feel like now I have to try even harder to be a good person. But I also feel like I have more purpose and I have to maybe spread the word. Who knows? I don't know. This is new to me. Maybe spread the word on the podcast. Maybe, now and then say a little Bible verse. I don't know. I do know I'm a new person. I knew I'm a changed man, because I can say in the last month, I was probably in the darkest place that I was since I started using again. I was in some horrible places back in 2009, 2010, 2011 was probably the worst that I ever was, like rock bottom, and then 2012 was when I had to have a higher power through recovery, but I didn't stay clean, and it was a roller coaster of a ride. Different relationships, not working on myself, not looking at myself in the mirror, and having a lot of struggle. But for the past 25 months, so 2 years and a month, I have been 100% sober and clean, and it's the longest that I've ever had. The longest I've ever had before that was a year and a half. So I feel like I have to keep this momentum going. But that the dark place that I was in this last month was very dark. I'm talking about literally walking up to the edge, and I felt like that before, and I did not want to jump off the edge this time. And literally the only thing that brought me back was watching that video that I brought up on Friday on our last show. And it's just amazing how the universe works, because last Friday's show, it was just me. Nikki P couldn't make it. I was not supposed to do the show that I did that night. I was going to do something funny because I was just by myself. But instead, I watched a video from Attilian Childs. It's a 5.5 hour video. I watched it in different parts. And he was talking about the symbolism and the Freemasons, and it's everywhere. And he was pulling out so many documents and literature and symbolism and entertainments and what the world has planned for us, and he kept saying, like I always say on this show, I was like, he always said, He's like, I don't care, if this gets deleted, if it gets taken down YouTube, whatever, I just want to touch one person. Like, I hope this touches one person. And I'm sure that it touched more than me, but it did touch me and it did make a big impact. And after watching that last Thursday and Friday, because it was a long video, I felt like this is it. I feel like this is it. This is going to bring me to a place where I don't have to be in that dark place with a bunch of questions waiting at the ledge for something to happen. And calling out to a higher power. To me now, knowing myself, believe me, I'm not preaching this to anybody. I'm just talking this out loud because it's the first time I'm ever saying this. My friends don't know. My family doesn't know anything. They will know. I just know that this is a new experience and I want to dive right in. And I feel like now is a better time than ever because there's too much going on. There's too much going on. The world is absolutely, flipped upside down on its head. And I don't really think that people realize what is about to come. Like, I feel the vibrations of the earth. I feel that I have to do this, and I feel like I have to get prepared. And for me, this is the best way to do it. It's almost like I wanted to make a post for my next show. I wanted to make a post. Jesus, the one drug I haven't tried. You know what I'm saying? Because I definitely don't want to be disrespectful, and I'm not trying to like compare Jesus to a drug, although it looks like that. It seems like that, but it's like, give me something because I don't know what else to hold on to, and I don't know where to turn to. Now it's just like, okay, well, let me try this. Let me try this. And like I said, I was dabbling in the waters, but now I'm ready to dive right in. So, once I do talk to Nikki P, she's gonna be like, "What? You're crazy." If she doesn't want me to start talking a little bit more like a Christian, or at least talking like stating Bible verses and whatnot, then I'm gonna have to make a whole new channel, and then obviously continue with Mixture of Variety. But anyway, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here first. And as they say in meetings, thank you for letting me share. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for watching the show. Thank you for watching this random special episode on a Monday night. That's usually on Castbox. Who knows what can happen? Maybe eventually, because I kind of see it happening already. But Monday I do the show by myself, and then Wednesday and Friday I do it with Nikki P. But only Friday we do the YouTube show. I feel like eventually what's going to happen is we can leave our 250 audio episodes up there for anybody to hear because they're not going to be outdated. Really, the content is still the same if we're talking about addiction or mindfulness or mental health or whatever we're talking about. And then just make it a whole YouTube podcast. I mean, why not? We're getting the views. You know what I'm saying? We're getting the views. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, all YouTube episodes. Especially because Nikki P just got her new shit. I mean, see, that's one of the things too. I have to watch my cursing. that's gonna be a hard one. I gotta test that out. I gotta try really hard not to curse these days. And I gotta do a lot of things differently, but I'm ready. I'm ready to do it. Ready and willing to do it. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think maybe it's meant to be, children. Maybe it's meant to be. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday all on YouTube. We'll see. We'll see how it is. You guys know my thoughts go everywhere, so you never know. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please share, and please subscribe if you like, and leave some comments if you'd like. I'd love to hear your comments. If they're good or bad, I read them all. 100%. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this evening. I think I said everything I need to say. You guys have a wonderful night. I will see you Wednesday. Maybe on YouTube or maybe on Castbox. Either way, follow us on IG and you will find out. Our IG is at Mixture of Variety. Have a good one, guys. Deuces.